All right, so I'm going to start on equation of the line, okay? Before I go on to do a couple of examples, which are like the ones you'll be asked to do over and over again and come up quite a bit on the exam, I'm just going to run through very quickly what the equation of a line is, what it means, okay? So I have a really rough diagram here, okay? It's taken from your book. It's on the top of page 555 in your book if you want to see a slightly better version of this, but here we are. So this is a straight line, okay? Mightn't look exactly in my diagram, but you'll see the one in the book it is. And I've just written here all the points which are on that line, okay? And maybe starting on this one in particular, 0, 5, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 1, 5, 0. What do you notice about the points on that line? Okay, well, each point, if you were to add the x and the y value, it would equal to 5. So if I went x value plus y value, it would be equal to 5. Okay, x plus y equals 5 is the equation of that line. Okay, so it's some relationship between the x and the y value in a line. Okay, so if you sub a point in, the x value there, the y value there, and it equals 5, that point must be on the line. If you sub it in and it doesn't equal 5, it's not on the line. Okay, so let's say, if I kind of skip down one, 9 and minus 4. Okay, is that point on this line? Well, 9 plus minus 4 is equal to 5. So that point must be on this line. What if I go down and do like 12 minus 9? Is that on it? Well, 12 plus minus 9 is equal to 3. It's not equal to 5. So 12 minus 9 is not on that line. All right. So to be on that line, the x and the y value need to add together to give you 5. Okay. Now, the equations are going to get a little bit more complicated than that. It's not just going to be x plus y equals number. They mightn't be as obvious to see as that, but that really is what the equation of a line is. You can rewrite it a little bit. You could write the equation here as x plus y minus 5 equals 0. It means the same thing. As I said, they'll get that little bit trickier, but all I mean by that is it'll be like 2x minus 3y plus 4 equals 0. So that would be the equation of some line. It's obviously harder to see straight away what points will be on that line. It's really clear here, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2. With this one, what points will be on it? Not as clear, okay? But if I was asked, is the point 1, 3 on that line? For example, 2 times 1 minus 3 times 3, so that 1 in for x, 3 in for y, plus 4 equals 0. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4, 2 plus 4 is 6, minus 9 is minus 3. So it mustn't be on the line. Okay, if I got 0 equals 0, it will be on the line. All right, so that's all the equation of a line means. It describes the line, or it sets up the relationship between the x and the y value in a line. All right, that's just a little bit of detail on what it means. Okay, what are we going to be asked to do with it? Well, we have to do a few different things with it, but the first one I'm going to start on here is actually getting the equation of a line. Okay, so questions like this where I'm asked to find the equation of a line. Well, to get the equation of a line, just like a lot of stuff in coordinate geometry of the line, the formula is here on page 18 of your formula book. Okay, now what you'll notice is equation of PQ, so equation of a line, there's two formulas in the log tables or in the formula book on page 18 for the equation. All right, there's the y minus y1 equals m on x minus x1, and there's y is equal to mx plus c. It's the y minus y1 formula that we use to get the equation of a line. So if we're asked to find the equation of a line, it's the y minus y1 formula. If I'm given the equation in a question and I want to try and get some information from that equation, that's the y equals mx plus c. Okay, so the y equals mx plus c we'll deal with another day. It's the y minus y1 formula that I'm interested in today. Okay, because what am I asked to do? I'm asked to find the equation of a line that goes through the point minus 1, 3 and has a slope of 3. Write it in the form ax plus by plus c, a, b, c, elements of z. We'll deal with that last bit at the end, but find the equation of a line. So whenever you're asked to find the equation of a line, you write that formula from page 18. So it's y minus y1 equals m on x minus x1. Okay, so if you look at this formula, there's x1, y1, which I've seen before in the other formulas I've dealt with. Okay, there's x1, y1 in the midpoint formula, in the distance or length formula, and in the slope formula. There's also just an x and y on their own without any number. Okay, the reason for that is if you look at what I said the equation of a line should look like, the equation of a line should have an x and y in it, or almost always has both an x and y in it. Sometimes it just has one of them, but usually it has an x and a y in it. So I want an x and a y in my answer. All right. So the y here and the x here without any number after them, I don't sub anything in for those. Okay. I want x and y in my answer, and that's where it's going to come from, by not putting in any numbers instead of these two. What you do sub numbers in for though is the x1, y1. Okay, so I'm given a point on this line, minus 1, 3, so I'm going to call that x1, y1. What else is in this formula? M. Okay, so we might remember from seeing the slope formula in this log table, m is equal to, m means slope in coordinate geometry of the line. Okay, so m, I'm subbing in the slope of the line, and I'm given the slope in this question. Okay, so I'm going to sub minus 1, 3 in for x1, y1, and I'm going to sub 3 in for m, in for the slope. So don't sub anything in for y, minus, instead of y1, 3 equals m is 3, that's my slope, on, don't sub anything in for just x, minus in the formula, and then my point is minus as well, so minus minus 1, and that's it. Okay, now I'm going to multiply this out, I'm going to tidy this up, so I've got y minus 3, so I've got 3 times x, which is 3x, minus minus 1, two minuses together is a plus, so I've got 3 multiplied by plus 1, so 3 by 1 is just 3. Okay, so that's it multiplied out. Now, this is where I'll come to that last line. The right in the form ax plus by plus c, that should say equal to 0. A, B, and C are elements of Z. Z is integers, if you remember. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. Okay, so whole numbers, so not fractions, not decimals. Now, in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0 means you want your x's, your y's, and your just numbers all on one side equal to 0. Okay, so I don't want y's on one side, x's on the others, and I don't want numbers on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. This is telling me to move everything to the left-hand side and leave nothing on the right-hand side. All right. You can be asked to write your equation in a slightly different form than this sometimes, but this is the most common way you're asked to do it on the exam. Okay, so that's all ax plus by plus c equals 0 means. Okay, so the a, b, and c just mean some numbers. All right, but what's it telling you? It's telling you to get everything over to the left-hand side and equal to 0. All right. So my y minus 3 are already on the left-hand side, so I'm going to leave those. 3x, I'm going to move over and it becomes minus 3x. Plus 3, I'm going to move over and it becomes minus 3. And then I've moved everything from the right-hand side, so I've got nothing left or 0 left on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side now, I've got minus 3 and minus 3, like terms, so you're going to put them together. Usually you just put the x out in front, so I've got, on the left-hand side, I've got minus 3x, I've got just plus y or plus 1y there, and then you've got minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3 is equal to minus 6, okay? If that is the type of thing which trips you up, just check it on the calculator. Minus 3 is minus 6, okay? So those kind of negatives and double negatives can trip people up sometimes, so check it rather than get it wrong. Okay, so everything is on the left-hand side equal to 0. The a, b, and c, the number in front of the x, the number in front of the y, 1, or in this case, and the number that's on at the end are all integers. They're all whole numbers. So I've done what I was asked to do. All right. The questions in your book ask you to do this as well. Don't ask you, sorry, to put it in the form ax plus by plus c, but that's the form all the answers are in. So I would put it in this form. So multiply it out and move everything to the left-hand side, and then you'll be able to correct them using the solutions that are there. One thing just to say is, sometimes if you have minus 3x plus y minus 6 equals 0, that's the same thing as if you change all of the signs. Okay, you don't this is it. This is done. I wouldn't do this, but if you change every single sign, so minus to a plus, plus to a minus, minus to a plus, that means the same thing. And just sometimes they'll write this as the answer instead of this. So if you have what looks like the right answer, but you have every single sign wrong, or the other way around, you've got it right. Okay, so don't let that throw you off. Okay, that's just for when you're correcting it using the answers in the book. All right. The last thing I'm going to say just before moving on to another example is these have come up a few times in the last few years in the exam. They've generally been worth 10 marks in total, okay, for writing down the correct formula and subbing anything in correctly, okay? So write down that formula and put in either the 3 in, this 3 in, or that minus 1 in the correct place. Gets you 4 out of 10. If you get this line fully right, if you substitute everything into the correct place in the formula, that's 7 out of 10. All right, so sometimes this little bit at the end, this multiplying out and the algebra of moving stuff over to one side or the other can trip people up. But if you write down the correct formula from the log tables and you put everything into the correct place in the formula, that's 7 out of 10. That's 70% of the marks. Okay, that's an awful lot of attempt marks. If you multiplied it out right and didn't quite put it in the form they want, you'd lose 1 mark probably and get 9 out of 10. All right. Grant. All right, let's move on then to another example. So find the equation of a line that goes through the points minus 4, 5 and 1, 3. Write in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0, a, b and c, numbers in front of x, number in front of y, number on its own at the end, are all integers. They're all whole numbers, positive or negative. Right, so find the equation of a line. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down my equation of the line formula. Now, what do I need to sub into this formula? I need 1 point on the line. I'm going to put in for x1 and y1. I'm spoiled for choice here because I've got 2 points. I've got minus 4, 5, and I've got 1, 3. All right, so I can use either one. So I can call this x1, y1, or I can call this x1, y1 and sub it in. It doesn't matter. I also need to sub in the slope. Now, I'm not given the slope in this question like I was to the previous one, but do I have enough information to calculate this slope? Yes, I do. Okay, so to get the slope of a line, you need 2 points on the line. There's my slope formula, and I have 2 points on this line. Okay, so I think it'll be more common that you be asked the question like this. You're not directly given the slope. You need to work the slope out yourself. So slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to call this one x1, y1. I'm going to call this x2, y2. So subbing into my formula, y2 minus y1, 5 minus 3 over x2 minus x1 minus 4 minus 1. 5 minus 3 is 2. Minus 4 minus 1. Again, if that's the type of thing that trips you up, minus 4 minus 1 equals minus 5. And there's my slope. Okay, 2 over minus 5, which is just the same thing as you can put the minus out in front like that, or you can put the minus on top. Okay, or you can leave it on the bottom. All right, so minus 2 over 5. And as I said, when we were doing slope, you will generally leave slopes as fractions. So minus 2 over 5 is what I'm going to use here. So let's sub into my formula then. So y I don't sub in for. Minus y1 is 3 equals m, my slope, is minus 2 over 5 on x. X1 then is 1. So now I've got y minus 3 equals minus 2 over 5x. Well, like 2 times x is 2x, 3 times x is 3x, 7 times x is 7x. So minus 2 over 5x is just minus 2 over 5x. It's just like any other number. Minus 2 over 5 multiplied by minus 1. Well, anything multiplied by itself is itself. But let's say there was another number there and we weren't too sure about multiplying it out. Minus 2 over 5 multiplied by minus 1 is plus 2 over 5. So plus 2 over 5. My double negative giving me a positive, and then anything by 1 is just itself, so the 2 over 5. Grand, all right. This is where my ax plus by plus c is kind of important, because I need to write it in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So remember, that just means move everything to the left-hand side. So I can do that. But remember, it says a, b, and c are elements of z. What that means is they are all integers. They are all whole numbers. So they're not fractions like I've got here. Okay, so I've got 2 over 5. I've got numbers over 5 in this question. How can I get rid of that over 5? What's the opposite of over 5? Or what's the opposite of divided by 5 is another way of writing that. Well, the opposite of divided by 5 is multiply by 5. So if I multiply this by 5 and I multiply this by 5, I'll get rid of the over 5. I'll get rid of the fraction. Now, I'm not allowed just multiply the 2 of them by 5. I will need to do it to the 2 of those as well. Okay, so to get rid of those fractions, I need to multiply across by 5. So 5 times y is 5y. 5 times minus 3 is minus 15. 5 times minus 2 over 5. Minus 2 over 5 multiplied by 5 is minus 2. Okay, the over 5 is going to cancel out by the multiplied by 5. So you're left with just minus 2x. And then 2 over 5 multiplied by 5. Same thing, okay? The divided by 5 and the multiplied by 5 cancel each other out. And you're just left with the plus 2. All right. So now it's in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So it's everything over to the left-hand side equal to 0. So bring your minus 2x over, it becomes plus 2x. Bring your plus 2 over, it becomes minus 2. The 5y is staying where it is. The minus 15 is staying where it is, so they don't change signs. Equals, I've moved everything off the right hand side, so I'm left with nothing over there. Then I've got 2x, I've got 5y, and I've got minus 2 minus 15. So minus 2 take away 15 is minus 17, equal to 0. So there is your answer for that one. Okay, so as I say, in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So got rid of any fractions that were there and moved everything over to the left hand side. This is probably even more important on this one than the last one, because there's more places on the kind of algebra and the getting rid of fractions that might trip people up. Okay, so just a reminder, when these come up, they're worth around about 10 marks, so they have been. If you write the formula down and sub anything into the right place, it's 4 out of 10. If you write the formula down and you put everything into the right place, so you put the minus 1, so you put the 1, the 3, and the minus 2 over 5 into the right place, that's 7 over 10. So even if this multiplying out and this getting rid of fractions is tripping you up, okay, know that if you get to this line here, you're getting 7 out of 10. You're getting 70% of the marks. In this one here, if getting the slope tripped you up, okay, if you forgot to do that or you didn't realize you had to do that, or how do I do that, how do I get the m? If you just subbed the 1 or the 3 in, you'd get 4 out of 10. If you got the slope and subbed that and the point in, as I say, it's 7 out of 10. So I'm going to put up the worked solutions for this rather than just the answers in the back of your book. And I think they're going to kind of show you the full kind of solution like this. So know that even if your final answer is not what they've got in the solutions, if your second line here with everything subbed in is the same as what they've got in the solutions, in an exam, that will be 7 marks out of 10, 70% of the marks for the question. Okay, so as I say, the kind of ax plus by plus c equals 0 and the getting rid of fractions might trip us up. We might find that a little bit difficult, but every single time, what are we doing? We're writing down y minus y1 equals m on x minus x1. We're subbing a point on the line in for x1 and y1. We're subbing the slope in for m. Sometimes, if we're just given 2 points and we're not given a slope, we need to work that slope out first before we can get the equation. All right.